I've put together 6 reasons people typically have hired me or people I'm coaching. Today's question comes from somebody named Lacey. Lacey wants to know why most people hire a professional organizer. I'm assuming, Lacey, that you're asking this because you want to market or promote the benefits of getting organized. So I've put together 6 reasons people typically have hired me or people I'm coaching. Reason number 1 is they have TMI. Too much information is absolutely overwhelming people today. They've watched TV shows, they've read books, they're reading articles, and they still can't figure out how to get organized or maybe which system is best for their particular organizational challenges, let's say. Number 2 is they don't have a system in place. They're frustrated because they can't find their keys, their passports, their kids' immunization records, cash, jewelry, dentures, important documents, cremation remains. Those are real life things that I have actually found for people. The number 3 reason is people typically don't have a routine that they're following. So that means that they forget their partner's birthday or an anniversary. They forget a job interview. They've missed flights. They just don't have a system. And if they have a system, maybe they're not using it. So I have a client that I'm thinking of right now. She uses a paper calendar, but she doesn't check her calendar every night or put together a plan to come, sit down one day a week and think, this is the week at a glance. So that's what I mean by that. There's another reason, I call it shiny object syndrome. This would look like people have their files, folders, photos spread all over the place. They're using maybe Dropbox and Google Docs or Google Drive. They've got things in different places and they don't have a system for using that. So I have somebody who has, documents in Evernote, documents in Google Drive, documents here and there, but there's no rhyme or reason. So it's business and personal are just being spread all over the place. So every new system that comes along, the shiny object syndrome, is that they want to try and experiment, hoping this will be the magic bullet that cures all. Oh, one other thing about shiny object syndrome is that my clients tend to get really creative when they're naming their files and folders. That's usually not a good thing. Creativity is great, but not when it comes to files and folders. And I'll give you just a quick example. It could be something like maybe I call my file for automobile car. Maybe my husband calls it pickup truck, Toyota, whatever. Another person might call it vehicle. So there's all of these different ways to name things. And if you aren't consistent and share the methodology that you're using, you'll end up with a house full of files that don't make any sense to anybody. Number 5 is no deadline or a different deadline or a transition is come about in their home. Maybe a new baby has arrived. Maybe they're getting a graduate degree. Maybe they're relocating or starting a new career. Maybe a death of a loved one. Sometimes people have medical conditions where they're no longer able to function mentally or physically in the same way that they did before. And then the final reason is just because they're finally ready to change. They have had enough of living the way they've been living. It's no longer working for them. So they want to try something different, and they're being open-minded and willing to give it a shot to work with a professional organizer. Just to recap, because I know that I rambled on with some of that, is number 1, people are overwhelmed with too much information. So simplify what they've read. Come up with a hybrid system that's unique to your brand. Number 2 is create a system, right? Create a routine in a system for birthdays, anniversaries, finding things. When you come in the door, maybe you take your phone out of your pocket and plug it in. Maybe you have a place to hang your keys. Maybe you record all birthdays in a Google Calendar, something like that. Teach people nomenclature, meaning how to name files. Maybe it's year, 4 digits, month, 2 digits, date, 2 digit, underscore, subject, something like that. Think about your clients' deadlines and transitions. What's happening in their life? Is their mother-in-law moving in with them? If so, what's that due date that they have to have the room ready, or a new baby's arriving? And then ask if they're actually ready to make changes and be open-minded about suggestions you're going to offer them. If you liked this video, please remember to like, subscribe. If you have questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments section or email me at gthomas@metropolitanorganizing.com.